What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV. Joined once again by Luke ahead of Game Week 5 in the League of Ireland Premier Division. If you do go on to enjoy the video, as always, please drop a like down below and please do subscribe. It is much appreciated. But Luke, how you doing, mate?
All good, Ross. Thanks for having me on again. Good to be
Yeah,
back.
no, absolutely. Obviously, at the Tallaght Stadium last night, we'll get into all that. I suppose we'll jump straight into it with Derry City. They were obviously the visitors to Tallaght last night. They take on Waterford at home this Friday night. What did you make of Derry's performance last night?
They were okay. Yeah, no, they were dangerous enough in the attack. Now Pat Hooban, he's going to get a bag of goals for them this season. Like he's a
Yeah.
great position. But like I didn't really think that like Duffy got up to much or likewise. I just thought Hooban was kind of their threat up top.
Yeah.
Defensively solid enough now to be fair. Brian Maher actually looked decent now. I know maybe for the first goal with Darragh Burns he could have done a bit better. But I thought like his distribution and so on has improved on last season. So yeah, no, I think Derry are kind of well paced at the moment. They're doing well.
Yeah, they're second in the league as it stands. And obviously, what is it, a 6 point gap with Rovers already at this stage? But it was important not to, for Rovers' perspective, not to make that 8 points. And they take on Waterford, who won again last night. They beat who did they beat again? Off the top of my
Hey,
head.
Pat's three
St.
three one.
Pat's, of course, yeah. They beat St. Pat's 3-1, which is a massive win for them. Pat's obviously struggling, but for Waterford, especially off the back of the Galway defeat last Friday, to bounce back with a win was huge.
Yeah. Like as we were saying about Galway, like it kind of did happen in the sense that Galway got the better of them because and kind of a
Yeah,
reflection on last season as well. But like it was great, like a phenomenal performance from Waterford against Pats. Like they're looking every bit worth their value of being a Premier Division side. Like I know they kind of got up at the skin of their teeth last year beating Cork, but they look like they've been in the division for years. So
yeah.
yeah, I think Derry this is not going to be a one-sided affair for sure. I think Waterford are going to give Rory Higgins something to think about, and I think it'll be a close enough game. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's huge for Water. Obviously, losing Ronan Coughlin was massive coming into the season. Obviously, it was their top goal scorer last year, and just their kind of their focal point of their attacks. And it from them, it was a big, maybe a risk to bring in Porrigamond up front. Obviously, it's been a while since he's been in the league. I think he was in the fifth tier, probably was it last season.
Yeah.
And he's getting on a little bit now. I think he's in his mid 30s as well, so it's a bit of a risk. But he's hit the ground running. Scored a good few goals now. Scored twice last night as well, which is huge for them. And if they're want to kind of, it looks like they're gonna in with a great chance of steering clear from ninth and 10th this season, which is obviously the aim for them. And yeah, I think Keith Long, even looking around the managers league, obviously there's a few managers under pressure now. Kind of looking at Keith Long, like he'd get a job in like Dundalk and Bo's probably taking back now at this stage. Like a lot of teams there that Keith Long is definitely not one of the like worst managers league. He's definitely mid to top half, like if you're ranking managers. So Waterford looking a really good place.
Yeah, it was very harsh the fact that Keelan got like with the whole Bohemian situation because like he rebuilt that team like three or four times over
Yeah,
the course of a decade. Like I know he didn't win any trophies, but like you look at what he did, how many players he developed, like it was kind of a no-brainer when Waterford had the opportunity to get him. It was like, of course
absolutely.
we'll get him. Like he
Yeah.
and seeing what he's done, like so yeah, no, for sure. He's definitely like I'd rank him like up there with kind of like Bradley and Duff. Like I think he's that
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Top five
So
anyway, easily. Yeah,
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 100%.
for
Um,
sure.
I do think though that Derry will be too strong for Waterford in this one. Obviously, they've had a decent side to the season, 8 points from a possible 12. Well, it will be narrow. It will be narrow, but I'm gonna back Derry to beat Waterford. I think I'm gonna go for a 3-1 home win.
I'm going to throw a spanner in the works, and I'm going to say 2-2 again. I think
Two all. Huge.
I think Waterford have I just think every time I watch Waterford they score goals, and I
Yeah.
know they're not. That's why I think Derry will score as well. Like Derry are kind of similar enough, and I just think Almond 4 goals in 3 games. Like he scored 3 games in a row. It wouldn't surprise me if he found the back of the net on Friday as well. And yeah, I think it could be a nail biting one.
Yeah, definitely one to watch on Friday night. Next up we have Galway United and we have Drogheda United as well. Obviously, this will be a very tightly contested game. Two sides that are probably will end the season maybe battling for that playoff spot. It's hard to predict who's going to be down there so far this season because it's so incredibly competitive. Galway obviously did lose in Talker Park last night, 1-0 loss, but I think they'll be heartened enough by their performance. They did perform quite well against obviously the league leaders at the moment as it stands. And Galway this season have been impressive, picked up some good results, and they've been very competitive in all their games as well. And they look like a side that have definitely have the capabilities to stay up. Drogheda last night, I think it benefited them that they didn't play in Tala on Friday night. Because they potentially, you could argue, would have lost that game and then gone into Monday night off the back of a defeat in such close proximity would have been a bit of a dodgy one maybe. But yeah, for them to get Friday off, I think was huge. And then to beat Bows last night, absolutely massive result. Bows have stuck in big trouble, but Drogheda will be they needed that as well after the Waterford defeat. They needed a big
It
win
was
at
big.
home. And it was a massive victory for them. This will be a tough one to call.
What did you make of Galway last night? Like, what did you think of them?
Yeah, Galway were a good side. Like I think they put 36 crosses into the box. Like they put the pressure on, and at times they were on top. You can nearly say in the game. Like it was Shells. In fairness, were you can tell they're well coached, well drilled outfit, and Duff has set them up really well this season. Surprised me a little bit that we didn't kind of take control of the game a little bit more. We had changed out a few players. Matty Smith came out, John O'Sullivan came out, and we brought in Evan Caffrey and John Martin, sorry, who scored as well, which is great to see him get off the mark. But yeah, Galway, from a Galway perspective, I think they can definitely be impressed and pleased with their performance. Soccer Park, I don't think many teams will go there and take points this season, so it's not one that they'll be overly concerned about. They're going to lose games this year. It's going to happen, and they're going to win. They're going to get points along the road as well. So, yeah, Galway for me, in this one. I could see them winning this game. I'm going to go for a 1-0 home win.
You know, I'm the exact same. Yeah, I don't think there'll be many goals in this. I think it'd be kind of a cagey affair again, and Galway just kind of know, as we said before, like it's going to be a tough place to go, and
Yeah,
draw and have a few good quality players. But wouldn't be surprised if John Caulfield just kind of set the team up to keep it tight and just nick it from a set play or
yeah,
something. And I feel it'll be
100%.
the 1-0 Galway win. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be a narrow game though, all the same, and it's probably going to be yeah, it could be a set piece or a moment of magic from either side that could clinch it in the end. Next up we have St. Pat's against Dundalk, two teams that are in um yeah, in I wouldn't say dire straits, but not far off it maybe. Pats obviously with the 3-1 defeat last night, and Dundalk obviously losing 5-0 at home to Sligo Rovers. And it's just funny that we were kind of talking about Dundalk at the start of the season. We're like, they picked up that point at Rovers and it's a really solid start, and they've good players there. They can really kick on now and finish fifth or fourth or whatever it might be. And since then they've just been abysmal.
Like I remember thinking, said one of my mates I go to the games with, I was like, do you know what? Like Dundalk actually look good against Rovers. Like we could look back in this point in a few months' time, and it could not even look that bad. They could
Yeah,
be champion for Europe,
100%.
and now it looks like a terrible point. Like
Yeah,
like Sligo battered them, and like I couldn't, but I watched the highlights. I couldn't believe like that. It was just carnage. Like taking the
yeah,
goalie at half time. To be fair, like he was
mental.
having a
Yeah.
disaster. And I was reading on Twitter after the game, apparently, like O'Donnell, the press were waiting outside to talk to the Dundalk players, and O'Donnell had them in like 40 minutes after full time.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Oh
yeah.
my
And then obviously
God.
with Pats, like it's it's not pretty either. Like I saw a video on Twitter of some fans singing "Daily" out of full time, which is like
Really? Yeah.
after 4 games, like
It's
it's
crazy,
not what
isn't it?
Pats want to be. So I don't know, Jesus. Yeah, it's a could we call it an El Sacco?
Yeah, you nearly could, I think, at this stage. I think O'Donnell. I think coming into the season, I think I saw like a betting thing for like the sack race and who was top, and I think O'Donnell was top of that. Which is maybe not overly surprising, but I feel like he wasn't backed overly well. Maybe they do have good players there, but like losing Hope and losing Dan Kelly, like it is always gonna be tough. But yeah, there's still no excuse for that. And do you think his days are kind of numbered on it?
I actually really rate him as a coach. I kind of feel sorry for him
Yeah,
because he lost. Like you look at the team from last season, he's lost so many starters, and like I understand he went to the England the year before and he got like Shepherd and so on. He got a few good buys, but like you just there just comes a point where your luck's got to run out in that department. Like if you keep on going overseas and
yeah,
majority going for inexperienced players, like it's going to eventually catch up with you. And I
100%.
just think that Dundalk have kind of they've lost their mainstays in their squad, and they have like Andy Boyle and Horgan and Benson left, but that's about it. Like, and
Yeah, yeah.
Dublin Cork got relegated a few years ago. Like they had Gary Buckley and they had one or
McCall
two
in the
others,
middle and
but like
stuff.
that isn't enough. You need to have nearly a starting 11 of it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of feel sorry for him. Whereas with John Daly, like he's built that team, and I know like it's early
yeah,
days. He's made a lot of signings, but like I kind of feel a bit more sorry for O'Donnell.
yeah.
So yeah, it's hard. I will see what happens. It'd be very hard if he got sacked because like who's going to go in there with those players and do a better
That's the
job?
thing. Who do you get in? It's a
Yeah,
risk. Get Filippo Giovagnoli back on the phone maybe, but yeah, no, I
I'm
think
sure you'll answer.
yeah. But yeah, no, I think O'Donnell. I think they'll give him a few more games. I don't think they'll pull the trigger just yet. But definitely under a lot of pressure to turn it around, especially with the league it is this season. You don't want to be getting cut adrift, because teams are going to be picking up points consistently throughout the year. You're not going to have a UCD safety blanket underneath you. Um, then for Pats, I think Daly has enough credit in the bank from last season with the FAI Cup win and a decent end to the season. But the pressure's definitely on there because they've spent big money to bring in a lot of players. Even like looking at Mulroney from last year, he's on big money. Obviously, I have Roy
Yeah,
Keaton coming in. He was nominated for Player of the Year last season.
yeah,
And yeah, your man was a Turner from Northern Ireland as well. I think they spent a few bob on him as well. So
yeah.
they've won the probably biggest budgets in the league, probably top two, top. I don't know if they're above Derry, but to be similar enough, I'd say.
It'd be near to
Um,
them. Yeah,
and yeah, they need to turn it around because yeah, it's getting they I thought they need to be in a title race for him to keep his job. Like that's like the
yeah.
minimum expectations this season.
100%.
And they don't
100%.
look they don't look near it at all at the
Yeah.
moment. Yeah, for me, sorry, you actually had to touch on the goalkeeper as well. Oh my days. Pitaluja. I saw a thing, I'm not sure how credible the source is, but apparently if he doesn't play, Pats have to pay his wages. So at the moment, Liverpool are paying his wages as he's playing, but if he doesn't start, Pats have to pay his wage, which is like 3 grand or something, 3 grand a week.
It
Um,
wouldn't surprise me to be honest, because like that's normally their arrangement. They're trying to
yeah,
incentivize their you players to play. I just can't believe. Obviously, got Yaros like 2 years back, and he was great for them, and
it was
they won
great.
the
Yeah,
cup. But like this is just you would think, Brazilian from Liverpool goalkeeper. Like you
yeah,
think he just looks like honestly, it looks like they've plucked someone out of the amateur ranks in Ireland and just said
yeah.
you're in goals for Pats now. He looks so out of his
Crazy.
depth, and I hope he gets it together. But yeah, so far so it's not been good.
Yeah,
Like
it's been a few games now, so it wasn't even like a
yeah,
one-off. It's been a couple.
yeah.
I think the President's Cup game didn't no favors for confidence wise as well. Like he just
No.
doesn't look up to the level at all. I think Liverpool actually paid 1.8 million quid from a Brazilian
Saw
team.
that, yeah, from
Yeah,
Brazilian league, yeah.
mental
Jesus.
like. So
Just don't know.
yeah, it's a tricky one, especially in that position. Like obviously, I think they obviously, as you mentioned, they had Jaros in from Liverpool. I think they had was it Joseph and Yang in from West
Yeah,
Ham as
who's
well.
actually another he started off shaky enough, but he's gone back to
He-
West Ham and he's been on the bench
yeah,
for them this season, like
yeah,
so like they
he
actually
pulled.
have a good track record recruiting goalies, so you would have thought that this would have worked, but so far it's
Yeah,
been a disaster. Like,
a
yeah.
disaster. Yeah, yeah. We'll see if he can pull it together. Which is it's such in a position where you just need to have a bit of stability, especially if you want to be in a title race. You need the keeper to be a stable
Yeah.
presence among your back five, whatever it is. So yeah, huge question marks there. I'm going to go for St. Pat's to get this back on track. Though I think it's nearly the perfect game for them, to kind of put a win on the board. Obviously to beat Galway on the opening night, which seems like a lifetime ago at this stage. But yeah, I think that they'll pick up the win here. I'm going to go for. I think I'll go for a two. I think I'll go for 2-0, 2-0, Pat.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2-1. I just think that Dundalk Dundalk and Pats both look shaky at the back, and I just can't see Pats keeping a clean sheet. To be honest, I think like they've enough. Dundalk have enough going forward to ask a few questions, and as you said, if that goalie's playing again on Friday, like I'm
Yeah,
confident he won't make another mistake. So we'll see.
yeah,
But like as you said, it is the perfect like Dundalk are bottom of the league, Pats at home. Like kind of want to get the show back on the road. Like it makes sense for them to win. I
yeah.
think
No,
they will.
100%. I think it'd be a big indication of O'Donnell as well, how Dundalk, like if they have a big reaction from this game, you can kind of see he hasn't lost the dressing room yet. But if they get kind of pummeled again,
Yeah.
it's a curtain
And
set.
obviously
So
as well, there's the O'Donnell angle. Like he doesn't want to go to Pats where he used to
of
be
course,
and getting pelters and lose. So like
yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me either if he got a reaction. It'd be a big teller to see how they've reacted to that defeat. So it'd be interesting. I
100%.
think the Pats have enough quality to win it.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Arguably the highlight game of the weekend is a big Dublin derby at Dalymount Park on Friday night. We have Bohemians taking on Shelburne. Bohemians obviously a shaky start to the season. I think they've won one, drawn one, lost one. So far, so 4 points from 3 games. Which is on on the face of it doesn't look like a disaster, but performance wise, they've been really, really poor this season. Across all three games. To be fair, they snatched that Sligo draw when they weren't great. They snatched the penalty against Pats, where as we can see now, Pats are struggling as well, and Bows weren't up to a whole lot in that game. And then of course last night, losing away at Drogheda, which was a really disappointing one. Bows for you, what you make of their season so far and how they're looking?
It's been poor. Like I was gonna say, like you're not sure what version of those you're gonna get because I was thinking about the Pats win, but to be honest, they weren't even great in that game.
Yeah,
So like I was looking at the highlights, and again, the goalkeeper, like Evan Weir scores a free kick from nearly the halfway line, like,
yeah.
um,
I don't know
and
if
then
that's like it was a weird, it was a great ball in. Like you have to give that to
yeah,
him. It
it
was an
was a
unbelievable area.
great ball.
But I'd say the defender needs to stick ahead in that rather
Yeah,
than
it was a
potentially.
combination of errors, like,
Yeah,
but
it
at the same
was.
time,
It was
like,
similar enough, was it, I think, to they conceded a couple of goals like that in the FAI Cup final last year with Mulroney whipping them in from a free kick in a
mm,
similar position, I
mm.
think. Like they just seem to be get caught out in from set pieces and stuff a lot.
Yeah, well, even the Danny Grant own goal, like
Yeah,
it's been whipped near post and kind of under little pressure. Like it should just
yeah,
clear lines, and he's putting it top ins. Like
yeah,
it just seems a bit of defensive shambles. Like
yeah,
yeah, I don't fancy Bows in this game at all. Like from experience, like if use one thing Shells are good at is smelling blood. And like
yeah,
we didn't start well against you and you took full advantage. And I could see that being I could see if they smell the Bows from set pieces are weak or defensively are weak, they're gonna end the game quick. So yeah, I
yeah.
think the Shells are in a really good spot. Like what do you think?
Yeah, I obviously confident going into it, but it feels like one of those kind of banana skin tricky games. Like
Mm,
even the fact Bows fans weren't there last night, they'll be kind of raring to go on Friday night. The players probably be delighted to have the fans back in the crowd. And it just feels like a banana skin type game. Dalymount Park always is, even for Rovers for years. I think there was a couple of a period there for a couple of years where I don't think he beat them over 8 or 9 games or something. Like there always is
mm,
something a little bit strange about Bows, and it kind of it's a kind of a form goes out the window type game sometimes at them in the Dublin derbies. But on the face of it, if you're going off form, if you're going off performances, you'd have to be confident from Michelle's point of view. They've looked good this season. A couple of shaky-ish performances, probably their worst performances coming against the two newly promoted sides. Galway last night, we didn't overly convincingly beat them, but I don't think many teams will convincingly beat Waterford, or sorry, beat Galway this season. Then the
mm.
Waterford point now at the start of the season actually looks like a good away draw now as well.
Decent.
So
Yeah.
um, yeah, from Michelle's point of view, we're not conceding many goals. I think we've only conceded the two this season. Not scoring bags either, but I think Sean Boyd's come back from suspension. We'll probably have Matty Smith, who was kind of rested last night or not started. John O'Sullivan not started as well, which is it's another angle to the game as well. John O'Sullivan going back to Dalymount Park, obviously disliked figure there. So yeah, for me, this is a tough game to call. But I'd have to back Shells to come away with a 2-1 win, I think. But this game makes me nervous. It makes me nervous.
I have to say, Sean Gannon looks like some sign of his
Yeah,
like
he's been
it,
fantastic.
when he was with us, there was like people were saying, oh, he's lost his legs. He's not able to play wing back in our system. And like I've looked at him against us, he was giving it socks and he was
Yeah,
on top of his game. And then I saw he got in the team of the week there last night. So
yeah,
like fair play, like that's a great sign. So yeah, to be honest, I think it's going to be more convincing. But I wouldn't be surprised if you were two up at half time. I'm going to go 3-1 Shells. I just think that I look at Bowes starting 11 and like I know James Clark's a good player and so on, but
yeah.
they don't have the Afalabi from last season. Like they don't have the
No.
James Talbot and goals to dig them out. I just think that Duffer is going to put a plan together, keep you solid at the back, and yeah, I think it used to be too much for Bowes. I'm going to say 3-1.
Yeah, I think like if we score an early goal or something, that could really ruffle the feathers there. I think the Vine's under pressure there as well. I don't think the
Mm,
fans are too on board with them really anymore. I think a lot of fans were actually calling for him to go after at the end of last season. Obviously, what they finished fifth or sixth, whatever it was, and lost the
mm.
cup final. I did feel bad for Devine in terms of I don't think the recruitment is solely down to him. I think it's a bit of a mess upstairs as well.
Disaster.
And
Yeah.
the recruitment department trying to put it back forth together on the eve of a season kicking off is just an absolute yeah, it's I don't know the words to fully describe it. It's a disaster for them. It's really yeah, you kind of think of Bows being kind of the progressive organized club that they are off the pitch, which is great. And then on the pitch, they just seem to be kind of a mess putting things together. It's just yeah, it's just yeah, it's really a shame for Devine. And I think they kind of let Long down towards the end of his time at the club, maybe with recruitment. And then I think it's a similar story with Devine here. And not to say that he's an elite manager in the league or anything, but
Yeah.
I think he's been a little bit maybe hard done by with the recruitment that they've had. Like I don't think he would have heard of half the players they signed before
He,
they joined the club.
even like getting in Divine from the start, like it was never convincing. Like Ian Ryan was
Yeah,
supposed to be getting the job, and it was Richard Dunn was being linked, and it was like almost like fourth, fifth, sixth name on the list. Right, we'll go with
yeah.
Declan Divine. So like it just seems that this has been a team at Bowles for a while, and it's catching up
Mhm.
with them. Like obviously they had a few
Yeah,
years of success, a few cup finals, but you can't you have to have your ducks in a row on the pitch. Like it's great off the pitch having revenue and so on, but if you're not investing in your first team, you're not going to be successful. And like
yeah,
Shells is a prime example of that. Like you probably both have more more budget than you do, but use the
yeah, yeah.
best in areas and look at the difference. Like so important.
I think you look after on the pitch as a
Mm,
sole priority nearly to gain out because Shell's obviously getting Europe would have been able to help to convince the likes of Sean Gannon and stuff to join the club and I think Bowes could have been in for Sean Gannon, could have been in for a couple of players that Shell's ended up picking up. Even Joran Turner that went to Pat, he was supposed to be linked to Bowes. If Bowes had European football, maybe he would have gone to Bowes and said like there's so many different factors at play. So yeah, Bowes has seemed like a bit of a massive moment, but yeah, I'm not overly convinced in this one, but both backed on a away win there. So hopefully,
yeah, for
hopefully
sure.
comes through. What do you think? I know I kind of said it in jest a couple of weeks ago, last week even, but are Shells title contenders?
I'm putting them ahead of Pats right now, and
Yeah,
that's like a reactionary answer, but like
yeah,
Damien Duff is one of the best managers in the league, and like that is
100%.
essential. You know, if you have a good manager, you're gonna go far, and like you have improved your squad, like, and you look better for it. Like it was kind of like some fans were saying the off season, Jesus, Shells aren't really making their starting 11 better, but they're making their squad better. But now you're looking at the players he's brought in, they're making an impact. So like
Yeah,
he's can afford to have a few injuries or have Sean Boyd suspended or or have Liam like against us, Liam Burt not eligible to play. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
I think, yeah, so far it's looking like obviously yourselves and Derry have started fantastically. So like used to or who I'm worried about. And then Bradley came out after the game last night. And I don't know if it was mind games or jest, but he was like Shells, we can't let them we can't let them keep on getting away from us. Like so
yeah. No,
it's
exactly. I think I still fancy Rovers to come good in the end. They always fucking do. But yeah, no, it's it's definitely positive signs. Shales at the moment, and yeah, I think a top three finish would be. I think that's the aim from me for the start of the season. Kind of a realistic game to if you can crack a
great.
Pats or a Dairy, it's fantastic. So another year of progression or whatever it is. It's been an upward trajectory under Duff. So if you keep
Yeah,
that
for
going,
sure.
it just shows the testament to his work, I guess. Um. Then finally, Saturday night's game is Sligo Rovers at home to Shamrock Rovers. Sligo, obviously, off the back of that fantastic win last night, 5-0 win over Dundalk. And Shamrock Rovers, obviously, shaky enough start to the campaign, 2-2 draw against Derry, which you kind of touched on at the start of the video. How are you feeling coming into this one?
Unsure. Yeah, like we took the lead against Derry and it was we were like grand, let's see this out. And
Yeah,
yeah, there's some of the decision making didn't make any sense. Like obviously Dara Burns was playing wing back and like we kind of see before that penalty got given that he was Ben Doherty was kind of doubling up on him and
yeah,
getting the better of him. And Richie Tell was on the bench, who was saying before the game he could play wing back. And obviously had Pico back from the AFCON on the bench.
yeah,
And we brought on Pico and we were losing. So like it was one of those things. Bradley came out after the game and was like, "Look, we were playing great until we took the lead, and then we just let it slip." But like that's concerning. Like we're
yeah.
playing
No,
Derry, our title
100%.
rivals, we're winning the game, and yeah, I don't know to be honest. It's just what version of Rovers are going to turn up because we know they have the ability, you know, they have the talent. But if the Shells version turns up, like we're gonna Max Mata's gonna run amok. So I
Yeah,
just hope that we we get the wins
yeah,
starting
yeah,
Saturday
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I'm not excited. I do not want to repeat of last season, and I'm feeling
No,
myself falling
yeah, you
into it.
can't keep getting away with it. Surely, like,
Yeah.
I thought Darren Burns going forward though looked really promising. I kind of saw the highlights. Obviously, yeah, playing wing back seems like a really strange one. But yeah, defensively he's always going to be a little bit suspect. He's obviously naturally kind of a forward player. But going forward, he looked fantastic. I thought.
Oh yeah, he's bags of ability, bags of pace. Like I kind of felt sorry for him playing wing back because he was getting asked to do something that he isn't his game. And to be
Mm,
fair to him, he ran his socks off and he rightfully got man of the match. So like he's going to be a great asset for us this season. It's just a matter of
of course.
getting him into the right areas, and
Yeah.
he'll get goals and assists for sure. So yeah.
Did Berkey come off injured? I think I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, he played a
Yeah,
true ball there, like with 10 minutes to go, and you could just see, literally, as he kicked it, he just held his leg, and it's like, oh, here we go again.
nightmare, absolute disaster.
I'd love to say I think we're going to win the
Yeah,
game, but I don't think we're going to win the game. Like
yeah,
Sligo, I've had a fantastic result up in Dundalk. If you were saying that the sack race kind of odds, I remember seeing John Russell was like being
yeah, yeah.
he was like one of the favorites to get sacked to start of the season, and like look where they are. Like
Done really
they've
well.
5 points
Yeah,
from 4 games. Like they only lost the game.
yeah.
Like so,
Bringing
um,
bringing in McGinty and Max Mata, like
oh,
two both ends of the pitch,
brilliant.
just really stable, like really great, like really good recruitment there.
Yeah, even like your man Ellis Chapman and the center, the
Yeah,
English center that we got in, like they look solid too, and like they just
yeah,
look like an outfit. And I think Sligo, as Derry, and I know you've got your 1-0 win there, which was a great result.
yeah,
But Derry didn't get a win there, and like yeah, they're going to give us a game. So I'm probably going to say 1-1. To be honest,
yeah,
I think it'll be kind of similar enough to kind of how the Derry game went to just be a bit of a stalemate, and we'll both score at different points of the game. What do you think will happen?
yeah. I'm just like I'm waiting for that week where I'm like, okay, Rovers are turning it around now. Shamrock Rovers, that is. I'm not convinced it's going to be this weekend. Yeah, I'm not overly convinced. They still look a little bit shaky. Burke
Mm.
being possibly out is massive as well. You could see the difference he made even in the Shells game coming off the bench. A huge difference. So yeah, I think I'm going to back exactly what you said. I think I one always crossing my mind that I think I'll go for that. And I don't think it's like on just going off that one result. I don't think it's a terrible result for Shamrock Rovers. Going to Sligo and getting the points, just that one game, it's not a terrible result. But I mean,
Mm.
just the way the season's gone so far, they need to be winning games. So maybe it's another 2 points dropped in that regard. But yeah, I think I go 1-1.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's just now it'd be different if you had our full team. I
Yeah,
feel like I'm saying it every week, but it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like yeah, you watch Rovers and like there's so many good players on the pitch, but they're just not connecting it. Like we had at
yeah,
one point last night, we had like Burke, Gaffney, Kenny, Burns all on the pitch, great attackers, but you just don't have that link in between, like younger McInnes or Jack Burns, and you kind of need the full picture,
yeah,
the full puzzle together to make it work. And it's just kind of we just look a
100%.
little bit disjointed now. So I just yeah, I just think Sligo are in a good run of form and they'll fancy getting a result. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, guys, there you have it. Our scoreline predictions ahead of game week 5 in the LOI Premier Division. Let us know your predictions down in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video as well, make sure to drop a like on it and make sure to subscribe. And yeah, Luke, thanks for million, mate. As always, absolute
yeah,
pleasure.
Ross, thank you.
Take
Cheers.
it easy, bro.